Welcome to Hearts and Stripes, your one-stop shop for all things military marriage. I hope our discussions and interviews equip you with the tools to start or grow a beautiful marriage as we address the benefits and challenges of mil marriage. I believe life's most precious moments are worth celebrating, so I'll help you design your marriage blueprint in alignment with your core values. Thank you for joining us, and remember to rate, subscribe, and review. Let's do this. Hello, and welcome to Hearts and Stripes podcast. This is your host, Bree Carroll, and I'm thrilled that you are joining me for another Heart to Heart. So I hope each and every one of you out there is enjoying a long weekend. We just got off of the Day of Love and are just enjoying this long holiday. I hope you are enjoying it as much as I am. But if I can just say, I am still riding the high of the GY6 virtual fashion show. So if you guys missed it, or if you were there, I would love to hear your thoughts of the GY6 show. It was the virtual fashion show bringing together military spouses and veteran designers for the very first time. The GY6 show was presented by Armed Forces Insurance and First Command, and it was amazing. We had a great time on Valentine's Day watching the presentation. It was extraordinary to see how everything just came together. We had some surprises in there, like a dance and a feature from a good friend of mine, Maxine Reyes. One of her songs were featured in there during the Operation Deploy Your Dress segment, and just so many great moments in the GY6 virtual fashion show. A huge thank you to Triple Nickel, Michelle Collins, Wendell, Damian Lee, and also Charlie Madison Originals, all of the amazing designers that were featured in that show. It came together so well, guys. And if you do not know what I'm talking about when I'm mentioning GY6, then you absolutely need to head over to www.gy6show.com and watch the replay. This was actually the kickoff event, or Save the Date event for Military Marriage Day. So I was thrilled to be a part of the production of this virtual fashion show. It's actually 6 months strategically so, right? The Day of Love, Valentine's Day, is 6 months from Military Marriage Day, which will be celebrated on August the 14th. And I was so excited to kick it off in such a unique way, something that whether your spouse was with you on Valentine's Day, or maybe you are geographically separated due to a deployment or TDY, you had the opportunity to kind of get a little festive and have some fun in a different and new way. So thank you to everyone who participated in that. Thank you again to Armed Forces Insurance and First Command for being the presenting sponsors for the GY6 show. So I also wanted to just share quickly a happy Black History Month to everyone out there. I know we will continue to touch on moments of celebrating history and heritage on the Instagram page. So check that out as we continue to share little highlights of some amazing African Americans who have just done phenomenal work and just progressing this nation. That's what I'm sharing in the stories. I hope you guys can get on board and share the love. I mean, all of this is about love. Valentine's Day, Military Marriage Day, Black History Month. Let's just keep this attitude of love. And really, that's what this episode is all about. If you're listening to Hearts and Stripes podcast, you know we're all about strengthening military marriages, and this concept of love is what we're going to continue to push forward as we continue the conversation, talking about loving ourselves, talking about confidence like we did in the previous episode with Melanie Simon. Today I get to talk with my good friend, even my sister, my P2P sister, that's Purpose to Platform. She was in the coaching program with Patrice Washington, who you heard earlier in the season, and Evelyn is just an amazing woman who is a fellow coach teaching women that mindset shift that needs to occur with wellness. So I am not going to delay you. I want to jump into this heart to heart with my good friend, Evelyn. Say hello to everyone.
Hello, everyone. Evelyn here.
Yes, and Evelyn is going to share a little bit about herself. I can brag on her for days, but it is always great to hear someone introduce themselves because, oftentimes we will leave out the good stuff. We want to hear all about you. Share a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Evelyn LeVasseur, and I'm the owner of Evelyn LeVasseur Fitness, and the company where I help very busy moms reach their body goals without dieting or depriving. And I got here from having dieted the majority of my adult life, almost 19 years, to be honest.
Wow.
Yeah, that on and off and shaming and guilting and losing and gaining again. It took a very long time to heal the real issues that truly had nothing to do with food. And that's what led me to help other moms, because I realized very much that my negative feelings about myself were 100% going to impact my children. And, that mindset had to come first. So,
Right.
A long journey with many layers, but mindset shifts that have brought me an incredible sense of freedom that I now share with other women. I'm also a wife and a mother of two. My baby girl turns 12 tomorrow. And
oh, yay!
Yeah,
that is awesome.
She keeps telling me, Mommy, I'm almost a teen. Stop it.
Stop it right now.
Slow it down, little girl. And I work from home. I also personal train, and I have group coaching, individual coaching, and I'm just at a point in my life through a huge journey of self-reflection where I finally feel free and empowered and comfortable with who I am. And I feel like being a mother, that's the greatest gift I can give my children, a happy, healthy, present mom.
Oh, that's so good. And present, you hit on that. That is actually my word for 2021.
Ooh.
So I so love that you hit on that. And that is definitely a mom goal that I have, to be present in all the things that I'm doing. So you shared you're a wife and a mom. We would love to hear, Hearts and Stripes, we're all about learning about strengthening our marriages.
Yes.
Please share what your marriage story is.
Oh, my marriage story. Actually, I love my marriage story. So, my husband and I actually were very good friends since we were 12 years old, in the seventh grade. And we were so close that he would hang out with my older brother, and he even would call my parents mom and dad. When we went places, we would tell people that we were family. And I want to say I was about 25, and I'm aging myself here, but he sent me an email and just said, it's been a long time that I've been thinking about this, but I want us to be more than friends.
Ooh, yes, make the move, sir.
And my initial reaction was absolutely not. Absolutely not. I cannot. It was instant. Like, I was terrified to ruin our friendship. And all I kept thinking was, if this doesn't work out, I lose my friend that has been here with me since I was a little girl.
Yeah.
And I turned him down. And maybe 6 months later, he came to me and was like, I am not letting this go. This feeling is not going away. And I'm going to wait until you see what I see. And it was like, in that moment, I was like, you know what if I don't try and I regret it? That's the bigger what if. And then we decided to start dating, and it was just so easy, having come out of, a much younger, more tumultuous, dramatic relationships, and
right.
Jealousy and all that stuff, to just be with someone who knew me thoroughly and just saw me for who I was and let me be who I was. There was such ease in our relationship. So naturally, I believed that when you get married and it feels that easy, that it will just always be that easy.
Mm-hmm.
I had that fairy tale idea in my mind of, because we love each other so dearly and we have the same values, that everything will just always work itself out.
Right.
And, it takes some very difficult situations and some very deep reflection to learn that, love in and of itself will not carry a marriage. There has to be compromise and extremely difficult conversations and
Yes.
a level of vulnerability that I had not shared with anyone before. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I also learned that, being willing to go there and have those horribly difficult conversations just bring you to a whole different level of growth. Um,
Yes. Yes.
yeah, yeah. So we've been married almost, well, it'll be 16 years in July. Um, and I can't even tell you, he really is my favorite human being on the planet. He is,
I love that so much.
he's patient and loving and sarcastic, and he challenges me, and and I toggle between like wanting to hug him and wanting to fist fight him. he's just he is my favorite person, and such a great example of what it means to just grow together.
Right.
By the hard part, what I think the hard thing for me to learn was, to grow together, we had to really focus on growth as an individual first.
Woo!
Mm,
Evelyn, you are
mm,
knocking on my door,
mm,
ma'am. That is what I love to talk about here
mm-hmm.
when we have these hearts to heart. So let's back up because
Yes.
we have to unpack all the
Okay.
things.
Okay.
Like you, I definitely felt like it was so easy to be
Mm-hmm.
with my husband. Like, even as we started dating, it was just so easy. Everything just clicked.
Everything.
And
Mm-hmm.
I think that is for those who maybe are thinking back to when they met their spouse, that may be something that you're like, yeah, maybe you can relate to that. Maybe not everybody, but some people can definitely relate to, ooh, it was just easy starting out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I like how you said that it doesn't necessarily stay easy.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
have to do the work that goes
Mm-hmm.
along with growing together.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people, when they have this expectation of it started easy, it should just be
Yes.
easy. That's not
Mm-hmm.
realistic. So I'm so glad that you were
Mm-hmm.
transparent in sharing that. And for someone who was so in tune to you, knew you all your life, you
Mm-hmm.
still had to do the work, have the hard conversation. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that's really a really good takeaway right there. And then
Mm-hmm.
that last part, absolutely, I completely agree with you. I feel like I am a better wife, a better mom, a better businesswoman, a better friend when I take care of myself, when I
Oh,
am doing the work
yes.
on myself. So I love that you said that individually, you each have to do the work for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That way you
Mm-hmm.
can show up better in your marriage. So I absolutely love that.
Yeah. I always go back to that. Have you seen the movie Jerry Maguire?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That scene where he's like, you complete me. Like, I
Yes.
always see that, right? And there's a part of me that
That
is like,
cringes a little
this
bit.
is really sweet, but yes, it's very cringy, because I'm like, listen, I love my husband. I am in love with my husband, but he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't complete me. I do
Right.
that. I am responsible for my happiness. I am responsible for our emotions. What I feel is my choice. Now, he is a compliment to me, but he is not responsible for who I am and what I feel. That's
Oh,
my
that's
job.
so good. Yep. That's so
You know,
good. Yes, ma'am.
and that was not where I was when we first got married. When I first got married, I really believed like we love each other, so we're just naturally always going to put each other first, and then we're just going to be happy. Everything's just going to work out because we love each other and we're happy. But there's so much, even when you think that you're having like initially those difficult conversations. What do we value? What do we feel about religion? How do we feel about family? You have these discussions and you feel like you're on the same page, but then when the situations come up, the way you handle them is so differently that it causes conflict as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's a difference between what you value and how you take action in those values that can also, stir up some things.
Oh yeah, that is so good. I think that's one of those things that you learn as you grow with your spouse. Absolutely, you can have a conversation about something and think that you're on the same page, but when you have to practice it, when you have to put it to action, when you have to see what that split decision that they make, it may not align. And I think that's why I love how we unpack that in my care method when we're talking about assessing the foundation. A lot of those behaviors, what they actually do, may be triggered by something that is in that foundation from their past, something their parent did, something that is their natural response, even though their heart may be in the right place and they really want to do what you talked about, their reactions may not align. So until they can address why they reacted in that certain type of way, absolutely. We have seen that in our relationship as well. That is so huge. Yes.
So big. And I think that, there is the fact that you're willing to not only have those conversations, but then willing to step back and reflect, and then take action. I feel like that's the true measure of growth and commitment. It goes beyond just saying like, I love you, I'll take care of you, I'm here for you. But like, no, I'm going to take care of me and I'm going to work on me so that I can show up for you the best that I can.
Yes, Evelyn. And let's go right there. Let's talk about how you help these busy moms and military spouses listen and lean in. My active duty ladies, you are some busy mamas, and we are going to learn today how Evelyn supports us in not just that dieting, not just like a fitness or a wellness, but it's a mindset shift. There's a lot of different components to this. So Evelyn, go ahead and break that down for us. Kind of what are some things or what are some tips that you would give for busy moms that are maybe looking to see some results in their whether it's body image, if it's a number on a scale, or any of those type of things?
I feel like the very first thing that I will tell any mom, any woman truly, that if you have a body goal, you are never going to reach it unless you can figure out why it's even important to you. So as we start to unpack your why, the number on the scale, the size in the jeans truly loses its importance, because when we say, women will tell me, I want to lose weight, I want to look good in a bikini. Okay, why though? Like, what is important about that? And when you start digging into it, it's not the size or the bikini. You want to feel confident and you want to feel comfortable, and you want to feel sexy. And those things don't necessarily come from a scale. So we all get that mindset, and just coming from a place of first loving yourself as you are, because you can never hate yourself thin. You're never going to get to a point where you wake up and berate yourself and look at yourself in the mirror and not like what you see and then make better choices by that. It's kind of like you are almost being emotionally abusive toward yourself and expecting a positive result. And it just doesn't work that way.
Yes, I'm so glad you said it that way, because you're right. I know we talked before, and you made a statement that was like, we are our own worst critics. We are so hard on ourselves, and especially as you coach and train busy moms, we try to be everything to everyone and be this perfect whatever image. And we think we have to hit a certain number or a certain dress size. And I love how you said that, breaking down the why. What is the
Yeah.
why behind that? Because it really isn't tied to a number. So yes, I completely
So
agree on that.
true. And I feel like one of the greatest mindset shifts we can have as parents is that the way we feel about ourselves, not in our words, in our actions, in the way we look at ourselves, in the way we value ourselves, will be reflected in our children one day. The thought that I could raise my daughters to one day feel like they have less value than their worth is heartbreaking. But if I live that way, that's what they will learn.
Mm,
Um, I feel like, so if you think about taking our actions and creating, just words with them, if all of our lessons to our children were verbal instead of in action, what we're really telling our daughters is, right now I think you're amazing, and right now I think you are so worthy, and right now I think you can be anything you want to be. But when you grow up and if you choose to have a family, you have to understand that you don't matter anymore.
wow.
You have to put yourself last. You have to take care of your kids. You have to accept that your body is just bigger, and, well, you're not attractive anymore. Could you imagine saying those things to your kids?
Wow. Yeah, we all just got to let that soak in for a second, cuz
Mm,
that's really big. You are so right. So everybody just take a deep breath and just
mhm,
think about, what are we non-verbally communicating to our children, to, if you don't have a child, to that niece, to that young
mhm,
person that may be looking at you, watching you now. What are you communicating through
mhm.
your actions? So no, that was so good, Evelyn. That was so good.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like that is like looking at the world from that lens, knowing that my actions and literally my feelings about myself will shape them, is such a motivator to me. It
Yeah.
makes me understand that, to look at, for me to want them to grow up and see their value, I can't just tell them how great they are. I have to show them how to live in
Mhm.
comfort.
Mhm.
They have to see it. They have to watch mommy get up and take care of herself. They have to watch mommy set boundaries. They have to watch mommy look at herself and say positive things. They have to watch mommy look at other women and compliment their character, not their appearance. They have to,
Yes.
all of those things that shape how you feel about yourself, they have to see me do it first, or they're never going to learn it.
Very true. So true. And Evelyn, and this is why I knew you would be a great person to have on Hearts and Stripes podcast, because you are just hitting on so many things that we absolutely do stand for here. I think that is why we're passionate about marriage, and
Mm,
specifically strengthening military marriages, because we absolutely feel like how you walk through your marriage has the capability to bless that next generation, your children, to bless
100%.
your community. And you're absolutely, that you're hitting the nail on the head. How
Mhm.
we care for ourselves communicates something to those around us. And I love that you coach and train people
Mhm.
on how to better non-verbally communicate that through
Mhm.
showing, what do we need to do, what mindset shifts we need to
Mhm.
have, so that we are giving those right messages. And I love how you said it earlier. You talked about worthy. We have to treat ourselves like we're worthy, and oftentimes, if we're honest, we don't.
No, no. That
We
whole,
don't.
like, not having boundaries, and that whole taking on more than we can handle, and the whole striving for perfection, and the whole, constantly feeling bad about our appearance, despite the fact that we are amazing human beings that can handle so many different things. We don't look at that. We just reduce ourselves constantly. We constantly shrink our value when,
Mm-hmm.
I do feel that a lot of that has been taught to us. I feel like a lot of those expectations have been put on women. And
Yes.
I feel like we're getting to the point where we're questioning it, we're evaluating it, but there's still a disconnect between knowing what we want and being able to set the boundaries to actually achieve them. Um,
Yes.
so, I'm trying to bridge that gap because I really believe that if I heal myself, which I do feel like I had some major body issues. Um, I was super fit growing up. And when I went to college, I put on weight because I had gotten so much attention for my appearance. It literally became a part of who I was. So when I gained weight, I lost myself and I didn't realize how much of just an importance that had played in defining who I was. And that's what I feel like kind of brought dieting on in my life. But I had to realize that those feelings about myself, those false sense of control that dieting brought me,
Yeah.
was just masking an issue of worth.
Mm.
It all was just a band-aid, and I was not acknowledging the fact that I did not see my worth. I did not understand my value. I did not focus on, you know, the blessing that I am. I don't even think that I acknowledged that I was a blessing. I saw my husband as a blessing. I
Mm.
saw my children as a blessing. I saw my family as a blessing, but I kind of lived in that gratitude as an outsider looking in
Wow.
rather than believing that I was a blessing as well. I never saw it that way.
Wow, Evelyn, that is so, so big. And for anyone who is
Mm,
listening, think that through. Analyze. Do you consider yourself to be a blessing?
mm,
That is really big because you're right. We get very grateful
mhm,
for the things and the people that we have, and this person is so great, and we can see the good in them, we can see the worth and the value in other
mhm,
people, but man, when we are looking in that mirror, sometimes it gets a lot harder to see
mhm,
our worth, to see our value.
mhm. And I feel like our default is a criticism
Hmm.
before a compliment, especially when we're talking about ourselves.
Yeah. Yes, yes. And I love how our coach, Patrice Washington, she always uses that example, how we're quick to, when someone gives you a compliment, you're like, oh, I
Mhm.
got this on sale. Or, oh no, you look so, I love that dress. Or we try to give a compliment because we received one, as opposed to
Yes.
just pausing and just saying, thank you.
Mhm.
Just thank
Mhm.
you. That's enough. Just
I
to sit
love
in
that.
that. Just to sit in that. So I
Mhm.
absolutely love that. Evelyn, I'm so, so grateful for you to have just for you to just share that wisdom, to share that mindset shift. I
Mm,
know so many busy women are just taking notes, receiving what you're saying, maybe even gonna listen to it again to think through these different areas for themselves. If anyone wanted to reach out and work with you and dive and go deeper in this thing, because we're
mm.
only scratching the surface right now,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
If anybody wanted to connect with you, how can they get in contact with you? How can they work with you?
Well, I can be reached out at my website is www.evelynfit.com. And I do share a ton of free resources there, some mindset blogging, intuitive blogging, the pillars of health, what I call the pillars of health, which are your sleep, your stress, your water, your food, and your exercise all impact your body. Together. We can't have, some in alignment and some
Yes,
not.
yes.
There's so much more than just food and exercise. Um, I also am on Instagram and Facebook at Evelyn LeVasseur Fitness.
I love that. And we are absolutely we're going to link all of that in the show notes. I am just so grateful to have the time to just chat with you in this heart to heart to kind of unpack those things.
Mm,
And for anyone who is out there who maybe has been neglecting taking care of themselves, who maybe didn't feel like they are a blessing, or maybe have not acknowledged that they are worthy, what is maybe one last bit of advice that you would give them?
I would say that is okay. As an individual, I would say that God does not make mistakes. And we are here for a reason. We are here for a purpose. And our purpose has nothing to do with spending our days feeling horribly about ourselves and trying to shrink.
Mm,
So if you could look from the perspective of the joy that you bring to other people, then you can find gratitude for yourself. And that is a catalyst to healing in and of itself.
that is awesome. Yeah.
Now, as a couple, I would say the same the same thought goes into play. If you can continuously work on your value, continuously work on doing things that set your heart on fire, that make you level up, that give you purpose, that make you feel strong every day, then you show up as a better partner, and your marriage will just continue to grow in strength because you are.
Yes, absolutely. I completely agree. Completely agree. And that's something that we work through in the
Mhm.
identity course. I love, you guys have to just go check out evelynfit.com, get connected, get the resources, and by all means, take the step. It's just a
Mhm.
step. Take the step in valuing yourself, take the step in living the life that you want to live. And it's okay to need a guide. I think oftentimes we
Mhm.
try to do it ourselves when we really just need the support of someone who has the experience, can help us grow and develop in the way that they
Mhm.
need to. So Evelyn, thank you so much for being that guide for so many, and just for sharing a little of your expertise here on Hearts and Stripes podcast.
I
So
so appreciate the opportunity to do so.
yes. So before I let you go, we have to do my favorite segment of any episode, and that is our heart tracks. For those who are listening, our heart tracks for this season, season 2, you can check out on Spotify. It's Heart Tracks 2, and you'll find the entire playlist of what our guests have chosen as heart tracks for the episode. Evelyn, this is your time. What is the heart track for this episode?
It is my wedding song, Ribbons in the Sky, the remake by Intro.
Ooh, I like
Oh,
that. I
love
like
that
it.
song.
I absolutely love it. Okay, so why? Why is that the song?
That song talks all about how, the lyrics literally are, for so long, for this night I've prayed that a star would guide you my way. Literally, not only is that a representation of my marriage, but it's a representation of my life. The more grateful that I am, the more I focus on the things that are not just inside of me, but things that I contribute to, the way that I show up in the world. I just keep being guided closer and closer to who I am meant to be and how I serve. Like, that song is all about love and purpose and relationship and guidance and faith. And I mean, that's what I'm living.
I love it. That's a whole mic drop right there, guys. Like,
Woo!
that's it. Boom. Drop the mic. I absolutely loved it. Evelyn, it has been such a pleasure to have you on Hearts and Stripes podcast. You guys check out her heart track on Heart Tracks 2 on Spotify. And by all means, share this episode so that more people can hear what you have just heard. And by all means, reach out to Evelyn, connect, get that guidance that you may be lacking so that you can live a life more fulfilled, so that you can thrive, and you can do so in a healthy
Mhm.
way, taking all things into account, not just dieting, not just exercise, but getting that whole system, those pillars of health down with a guide like Evelyn. Evelyn, again, thank you so much. I just I love it. I love everything that you shared. So thank you so much for sharing it with our guests.
I love this conversation and I'm so grateful to have been invited. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in. Remember to rate, subscribe, and review. This is Hearts and Stripes. We are the few, the proud, that aim high and are forged by love. Always ready, always there. We are Mill Marriage Strong.